Our next talk will be a Python for application security testing by Zaki Ahmed. And he's the Open Web Application Security Project Indonesia chapter leader and security analyst from Indosisk. And he's also the organizer of Python Indonesia Meetup and Planet Python Indonesia maintainer. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Zaki Ahmed.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, thank you for attending my talk here. So, yeah, Hengao Sing Ren Sheni. So, yeah, nice to meet you too, guys. So, I'm sorry I didn't have time to learn Chinese better. So, before I go to here, I've been to Hsinchu where Jake's live. So, I've been to. He's calling this is the heart of the Hsinchu. This is the East Gate. So, first of all, yes, my name is Zaki Ahmed. That's my Twitter handle name. So, yeah, I'm from Indonesia, basically in Jakarta. I'm based in Jakarta. So I've been running 8 meetups since 2013, and also I'm the Planet. Planet is the blog aggregator for Python Indonesia. I work in a small company called Indosisk. It is a consultant company. We focus on information security. So one of our services is doing penetration testing. That's what I am willing to share to you guys today. So this is the hashtag. So disclaimer that this talk won't be a rocket science talk. So if you guys expecting that I am talk some serious or some cool stuff, please don't get bored. So what I can do on Python is only maybe this. Oh, sorry, I need internet connection. Yeah, that's what can I do about in Python. Okay, let's continue. So the most recent news in security is the Heartbleed vulnerability. So for those of you who don't know about Heartbleed, it is a vulnerability found in OpenSSL version something, I don't remember precisely, that enable attackers to gain personal information, including the secret key, so that the OpenSSL function as to keep the security and privacy is getting broke. So this is Cassidy Comics explains how the Heartbleed vulnerability works. So if I say potato with 6 letters, then the server responds with 6 letters. And if I ask bird 4 letters, but yes, the server still responds with the bird 4 letters. But then if I ask hat with 500 letters, then the information leakage goes out. So that's the Heartbleed vulnerability. So so here Python helps me to check whether the HTTPS has Heartbleed vulnerability or not. So with this simple Python scripts, I could test any HTTPS connection to whether it is affected by the Heartbleed vulnerability or not. So, yeah. basically, my talk will, I will share about how I use Python to test application security and then we continue to the second vulnerability. It's called the SQL injection. So yes, another XKCD comics. So SQL injection, this comics illustrate that the mother named his son is as a Robert, single quote, parenthesis, drop table students, dash dash. So yeah, any parents can give their names freely. So yes, this to illustrate how if programmers not aware how the user's input, so the application can have security vulnerability. So yeah, basically this is how to illustrate how the programmers should aware how the users will interact their application. So the security must be in the mind of the programmers. So if you already deploy your application, so it will be more difficult to fix your application. So yeah, the programmers should be more aware in terms of security. They must know that the users are creative. Maybe they could insert single quote, insert some SQL statements in the usernames and so on, so that the impact could be worse. This is the SQL injection. So yeah, Jack mentioned that I also active in the OWASP. OWASP is the organization focused on the application security. So one of the OWASP projects is the OWASP Top 10. This is one of the projects to raise awareness of people in terms of security. So the number one top 10 from the OWASP is injection. Why the OWASP put the injection in number one? Because injection has a very big impact. Okay, because with injection you can bypass the access control layer. You can, once your application has SQL injection vulnerability, I can access all of your database. So yeah, this is the definition of the SQL injection from the SQL Map developer, Miroslav Stampar. So yeah, there are many kinds of SQL injections: blind, error, union, time, and stack. This is mainly differentiate from how we execute the SQL statements, and also how we analyze the error informations. It's like maybe with error type SQL injection, we analyze if this type of error, we can know that the database is using example for MySQL for this kind of error information, so that the application use Oracle, MS SQL, and so on. So yeah, with SQL Map, you can automate it, all of the techniques in SQL injection there. So this is the statistics of SQL Map. So basically, this mainly in Python, about almost 80%. So, and then another one is XML. The XML is used to as a payload, while others you can see the details. So yeah, with SQL Map, this is the example of how SQL Map result. This is from a DEM vulnerable web application, which is an application that is designed vulnerable so that the programmers could know what is SQL injection. Okay, with this SQL Map, I could dump the users, the password, the last name, first name, and so on. And also in this table users, and the below is the guestbook tables. So what in attacker's mind is the first one the attackers search is the password and the username. So I get the password. So, but it is in the hash format. So how do I know the real password? So okay, I will continue how to to get the algorithm later. So yes, I've been using SQL Map to perform penetration testing for my work, and then I have some small contribution, not in terms of code, but in terms of an idea and a suggestion. So I request how to configure the output directory, and then how to retrieve the database server IP address. You can check the GitHub for the details. And then how to identify the hash algorithm. So Python for the rescue, this is only a simple Python function. So if I'm using the hashlib library, so I have password 123, and then I'm hash it with MD5 algorithm, so I get this hash password. So MD5 patterns is the length is 32, and the characters is from A to F and 0 to 9. So every time that I found that the password is in that kind of format, so I will guess that the algorithm is MD5. So I will use another tools on how to crack it, but for MD5 there are many pre-cracked passwords outside there in the internet. So there are services that there are sites that collected MD5 hash password. So basically, if I found MD5 password, so I could type it in the internet and find the real passwords. This one is more sophisticated scripts called hash identifier. So that's the hash password. So the input is hash password. So this guy built scripts to analyze hash password and just try to make matching patterns and with the hash algorithms. So yeah, this script is written in Python, hash identifier. So yes, we need to know the algorithm, and in security we have terms that the state of security is only as the strongest as the weakest link. It's only as strong as the weakest link. So, but most of the weakest link is in passwords. So users frequently just type their passwords in either default password, or maybe the administrator just put SASN password as long as the system is running. So the most easiest steps is to crack user passwords. So this one is Hashcat. Unfortunately, Hashcat is not written in Python. So Hashcat they're calling the advanced password recovery. So yeah, with Hashcat you should know what's the hash type first, then you could crack it. And in terms of cracking password, there are many techniques. One of the fastest techniques and easiest techniques is crack it using collection of words, collection of frequent words in your language. In Indonesia, we have someone who collected word lists, like frequent words and so on. So yeah, basically when I do penetration testing, so I use Indonesian word lists to crack user passwords, and then I also use another common word list from the internet in English. So Cracking is about time and computing power. So sometimes when penetration testing is performed, I don't have much time. So basically, I need to automate my job. So I start to write the script. So basically, I need to run to crack passwords in multiple word lists, so that they can run automatically, so that I could do something else which was more interesting and challenging. So I wrote this simple script just to make the cracking automatically switch to new word list every time the first word list is done. So yeah, but I think I should improve this script in threading mode, so that the cracking could run in parallel. And then the third one is how I use Python to proxying to analyze the network traffic. So yeah. So proxy is in principle that you are in the middle of the communication between either your web server and between mobile apps and the server. So yeah, I'm also doing penetration testing in mobile application. So here comes the Python to the rescue. So Python has open source project called MITM proxy. It is an open source project. It is a man-in-the-middle proxy. With MITM proxy, you could modify, you could replay, and you could also save the HTTP or HTTPS traffic. So this is some example of how I use MITM proxy. So yeah, you could see any traffic there. So yes, this is a GET request to Google with I'm searching for Aloha keywords. This is and also MITM proxy could also analyze post requests, like this example. I could see the passwords in plain text because I'm in the middle of the traffic. So even I could change the password in the middle, and also I could intercept what's the post message, and maybe if mostly programmers also rely on the client side validation. Example, they only use JavaScript to validate inputs. So with MITM proxy, I could bypass the JavaScript validation because it's not server-side validation. So yeah, most programmers still think that JavaScript is enough, but with proxy, I could bypass the JavaScript validation and created malicious input like cross-site scripting and so on. And this is the last one. It is Python for network forensic. So this is also based on my experience in one of my clients. So one of the clients is complaining that they have deployed their network firewall, but they still got attacked by SQL injection. So what should we do? So the first one we did is we capturing all of the network traffic. We try to investigate why this attack and when this has happened and how they could inject their SQL injection. So yeah. So another Python script, it is called SQL inject finder. So SQL inject finder will parse PCAP files and look for common SQL inject characteristic. So yeah, the first one we did in analyzing, in doing forensic, is we capture all of the incoming traffic. So yeah, we just use TCP-DUM with this simple syntax. Yeah, basically it will write a PCAP file in a hourly basis and also the timestamp so that we could doing forensic precisely what time this attack happened. Okay, I'm running out of battery and of the time. Yeah, this is how to example of how SQL inject finder result. So yeah, there's a source from IP source numbers XX with the page and the value, but the interesting part is they are doing casting here. So that's why that's why even though the client have deployed the network firewall, but the network firewall cannot identify this input as a malicious code. So this frame number 552,000. So yeah, that's why we need to decode it first. So yeah, we use Python to decode it, and then this is the decoded input, so we can see that this is an advanced SQL statement that the attackers use to attack our client application. So yeah, that's all for my talk. So I'm just sharing how I use Python in doing security testing, mostly in focus in application security. So from testing the heartbleed, the SQL injection and hash, and then how to analyze network traffic, and also for network forensic. Okay, I think we can have 4 minutes for questions and answer.
Anyone has a question? Okay.
Hello, Mr. Zaki. I want to ask you that do you know there is any framework in Python that is competitive to the Metasploit framework? Thank you.
Any other framework written in Python compared to Metasploit? As far as I know, I only knew Metasploit framework to exploit, so I don't know whether any Python framework to exploit. As far as I know, I don't know any other framework beside Metasploit.
Any others? Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you for giving the talk here. And for now, I think it's the time break, tea break, right? So if you would like, you can have some questions after later. Okay. So thank you.